We've all heard the stories. Traders who make a fortune overnight. And then the other stories, the ones about people who lose it all. So what's the real difference between them? Is it just luck? Some kind of secret? Well, not really. Today, we're going to break down what truly separates the winners from everyone else. It's about mastering two battlefields, not just one.
So let's just get right to it. The big, looming question: why do so many traders end up failing? Well, it's rarely one single catastrophic mistake. Nope. It's usually a failure to master two fundamental, and I mean equally important, sides of the trading world.
And here they are. Just think of trading success like a coin. On one side, you've got the math. This is all the technical stuff, right? Your strategy, your hard and fast rules, what is essentially your financial shield. But on the other side, you've got the mind. And this is all about your emotions, your discipline, and your self-control. If you only have one side of that coin, you're not going to get very far.
All right, let's really dive into this now, because getting a grip on these two realities isn't just a suggestion. It's absolutely non-negotiable if you want to survive and actually thrive in the markets.
Here's the key takeaway, the core truth of it all. Your long-term success isn't just about having a great strategy. It's about combining that with solid risk management, that's the math part, and strong trading psychology, that's the mind. You see, they aren't two separate skills. They're completely intertwined. One protects your capital, and the other, well, it protects you from yourself.
So let's kick things off with the math. But I don't want you to think of this as a bunch of boring, restrictive rules. Think of it as your financial shield. It's the armor that keeps you in the game long enough to actually win.
At its heart, risk management is really just your game plan for when things go wrong. Because they will. It's the strategic framework you build before you ever click the buy button, specifically to control your losses. In markets that can flip on you in a heartbeat, this isn't just a nice-to-have. It's literally everything.
So what does this shield actually look like? Well, it's made up of a few key pieces. You've got stop-loss orders. Think of them as your automatic safety net. Then there's position sizing, which is your ultimate defense against one bad trade completely wiping you out. And of course, diversification, the classic don't put all your eggs in one basket strategy.
Now let's zoom in on what might just be the single most important rule of them all, position sizing. This has absolutely nothing to do with picking the next hot stock. It has everything to do with deciding how much of your money you're willing to risk on any one idea. If you get this part wrong, even the most brilliant strategy on earth is doomed to fail.
And here it is, the rule the pros live and die by, boiled down to one number. You never, ever risk more than 1 to 2% of your total trading capital on a single trade. Think about what that means. It means you can be dead wrong 5 times, 10 times, even 20 times in a row, and you're still in the game. It's the ultimate survival tool. Diversification is another huge part of that shield. The idea is so simple, right? Don't bet your entire future on one single thing. By spreading your money across different kinds of assets, like stocks, bonds, maybe some commodities, a big hit in one area doesn't sink your whole ship. It's all about creating balance. Okay, so you've built your financial shield. You've got the math figured out. You feel protected. But that was the easy part. That was only half the battle. Now we have to talk about the much harder fight, the one that happens right between your ears.
This quote just nails it. You can have the best, most back-tested strategy in the world, but if you can't keep your cool when real money is on the line, you are almost guaranteed to make an impulsive decision that completely blows up your own carefully crafted plan.
And you know, there's a whole scientific field dedicated to this. It's called behavioral finance. It's literally the study of all the weird, predictable, and totally irrational ways that we humans act when it comes to money. And just understanding that these biases exist is the first huge step towards stopping them from wrecking your portfolio. So let's not think of these biases as personal weaknesses. Instead, let's treat them like common enemies that every single trader has to face. Once you can name them, you can start to figure out how to conquer them.
First up is the heavyweight champion of biases, loss aversion. Here's how it works. For our brains, the pain of losing $100 feels way, way worse than the pleasure of gaining $100. This one simple fact explains why so many traders will hold on to a losing position forever. They're desperately trying to avoid feeling that pain, while at the same time, they'll cut their winning trades way too short. Oh, and then there's this guy, FOMO, the fear of missing out. And we have all felt this. You see a stock or a coin just taking off like a rocket, and you feel this intense, overwhelming pressure to jump in right now, before you miss the whole move. And this feeling, it almost always leads to buying at the absolute worst time, with no plan whatsoever.
And let's be real, in today's world, this feeling is on steroids. Social media is a non-stop hype machine, constantly blasting you with other people's supposed monster wins. And all that does is pour gasoline on your FOMO, tempting you to ditch your own careful strategy for a lottery ticket.
And believe me, the list of these mental traps goes on. There's overconfidence. After you have a couple of nice wins and start thinking you can't lose, that leads to taking huge, dumb risks. There's greed, which makes you hold on for just a little more profit and ignore your own exit plan. And then there's simple impatience, jumping into a mediocre trade just because you're bored. Just learning to spot these in yourself is a game-changing skill.
So, the big question is, how do we tie all of this together? How do you actually combine the math of your shield with the mastery of your mind? Well, it all boils down to one simple but incredibly difficult word: discipline.
And this right here is the ultimate truth of trading. Your amazing strategy, your perfect risk management rules, your entire plan, it is all completely and utterly useless if you don't have the discipline to actually follow it when things get heated. Your psychology is the glue. Without it, the whole thing falls apart.
Okay, so how can you start building that discipline? It doesn't have to be complicated. Here are 3 simple, actionable things you can do. First, just taking a moment for some deep breaths before making a decision can work wonders. Second, journal everything, not just the trade, but how you felt when you made it. This helps you find your emotional triggers. And third, take a few minutes for some mental prep before the day starts, just to get your head in a calm, focused space.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You can learn the math, you can understand all the strategies, you can have all the tools in the world sitting right in front of you, but the final, most important question, the one that only you can answer, is do you have the discipline to win the battle in your own mind?